National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not explicitly mandate spas to be labeled and listed as self-contained hot tubs or spas. However, NEC 680.1 states that listed appliances and equipment installed within or on the walls or partitions of a pool, spa, or fountain, as defined in Articles 681, 682, and 683, shall be installed in accordance with instructions included with each appliance or equipment. This implies that spas, as defined in Article 680, must be installed following the manufacturer's guidelines. If the manufacturer's instructions stipulate that the spa must be labeled and listed as a self-contained hot tub or spa, then compliance is necessary. Spa manufacturers typically self-certify their products to show compliance with the NEC. They achieve this by attaching a label that contains information such as the product name, model number, electrical ratings, and the listing agency, for instance, Underwriters Laboratories or UL, Electrical Testing Laboratories or ETL, and the Canadian Standards Association or CSA. Spas lacking labels and listings from a recognized testing laboratory may not be suitable for installation. If the spa manufacturer does not provide a label and listing, contacting a third-party testing laboratory for evaluation becomes an option. The laboratory will assess the spa to ensure it adheres to the NEC requirements and subsequently issue a listing certificate. The cost for this service can fluctuate based on the spa's size and complexity, but it is often substantial. Purchasing a spa that is already labeled and listed is highly recommended. This ensures adherence to all relevant safety standards. In situations where acquiring a labeled and listed spa is not possible, engaging a third-party testing laboratory for evaluation remains an alternative, but be aware of the potential costs involved. To elaborate on the NEC requirements, it is important to understand the scope of Article 680. Article 680 covers electrical safety requirements for swimming pools, fountains, and similar installations. These requirements are in place to minimize the risk of electrical shock and other hazards associated with water and electricity. The term listed, as used in NEC, refers to equipment that has been evaluated by a recognized testing laboratory and found to comply with applicable safety standards. This evaluation process involves rigorous testing to ensure that the equipment is safe for its intended use. Labeling, on the other hand, refers to the marking of equipment with information about its electrical ratings, listing status, and other relevant details. This information helps to ensure that the equipment is installed and used correctly. In the context of spas, labeling and listing are particularly important because spas often involve complex electrical systems and components. These systems can include pumps, heaters, lights, and other electrical devices. If these systems are not properly installed and maintained, they can pose a significant risk of electrical shock or other hazards. For this reason, the NEC requires that spas be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions. These instructions typically include detailed information about the electrical requirements for the spa, as well as guidance on how to properly install and maintain the spa's electrical systems. In addition to the manufacturer's instructions, the NEC also includes specific requirements for the electrical wiring and grounding of spas. These requirements are designed to minimize the risk of electrical shock by ensuring that all conductive parts of the spa are properly grounded. Grounding provides a path for fault current to flow back to the electrical source, which helps to trip a circuit breaker or ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI, and to energize the circuit. The NEC also requires that spas be protected by a ground fault circuit interrupter, or GFCI. A GFCI is a device that monitors the current flowing in a circuit and quickly interrupts the circuit if it detects a ground fault. This helps to prevent electrical shock by quickly de-energizing the circuit before a person can come into contact with a live conductor. In addition to these electrical safety requirements, the NEC also includes requirements for the physical installation of spas. These requirements are designed to ensure that the spa is installed in a safe and stable manner. For example, the NEC requires that spas be installed on a level surface and that they be properly supported. The NEC also includes requirements for the location of spas. These requirements are designed to ensure that the spa is located in a safe and accessible area. For example, the NEC requires that spas be located at least 5 feet from any overhead power lines. It is essential to purchase a spa that is already labeled and listed by a recognized testing laboratory. This ensures that the spa has been evaluated and found to comply with applicable safety standards. When purchasing a spa, look for a label that includes the name of the testing laboratory, the model number of the spa, and the electrical ratings of the spa. If you are unable to purchase a labeled and listed spa, you can contact a third-party testing laboratory to have the spa evaluated. The laboratory will test the spa to ensure that it meets the requirements of the NEC and issue a listing certificate. The cost for this service can vary depending on the size and complexity of the spa, but it can be significant. Therefore, it is generally more cost-effective to purchase a spa that is already labeled and listed. When installing a spa, it is important to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. These instructions will provide detailed information about the electrical requirements for the spa, as well as guidance on how to properly install and maintain the spa's electrical systems. If you are not comfortable installing the spa yourself, it is best to hire a qualified electrician to do the job. An electrician will have the knowledge and experience necessary to install the spa safely and in accordance with the NEC. In addition to following the manufacturer's instructions, it is also important to comply with all applicable local codes and regulations. These codes and regulations may include additional requirements for the installation of spas. It is your responsibility to ensure that the spa is installed in accordance with all applicable codes and regulations. By following these safety precautions, you can help to ensure that your spa is installed safely and that it does not pose a risk of electrical shock or other hazards. To further clarify the NEC stance, it is important to note that while the NEC doesn't explicitly mandate listing for all spas, the practical implication of Section 680.1 combined with manufacturer instructions often leads to a de facto requirement for listing. Many spa manufacturers, in their installation instructions, will specify that the spa must be listed by a recognized testing laboratory. This is because manufacturers want to ensure that their products are installed safely and in accordance with the NEC. By requiring listing, manufacturers can be confident that the spa has been tested and found to comply with applicable safety standards. In addition, many local jurisdictions will require spas be listed as a condition of obtaining an electrical permit. This is because local authorities want to ensure that all electrical installations in their jurisdiction are safe and compliant with the NEC. Therefore, even if the NEC doesn't explicitly require listing, it is often required by manufacturer instructions or local codes. Understanding the role of testing laboratories is also crucial. Organizations like UL, ETL, and CSA are independent testing laboratories that evaluate products for safety and performance. These laboratories have established rigorous testing standards and procedures. When a product is listed by one of these laboratories, it means that the product has been tested and found to comply with the laboratory's standards. The listing process typically involves a thorough review of the product's design, construction, and performance. The laboratory will also conduct physical testing to ensure that the product meets applicable safety standards. If the product passes all of the tests, the laboratory will issue a listing certificate and authorize the manufacturer to apply the laboratory's listing mark to the product. The listing mark is a symbol that indicates that the product has been listed by the laboratory. Consumers can look for the listing mark when purchasing electrical products to ensure that the products have been tested and found to be safe. It is also worth noting that the NEC is updated every 3 years. This means that the requirements for spas and other electrical installations may change over time. It is important to stay up to date on the latest version of the NEC to ensure that your electrical installations are compliant. You can obtain a copy of the NEC from the National Fire Protection Association or NFPA or from many online retailers. In summary, while the NEC 680.1 does not explicitly mandate spas to be labeled and listed as self-contained hot tubs or spas, the manufacturer's instructions do. Oftentimes, those instructions may require the product to be listed, and listing ensures adherence to safety standards and is typically less costly than aftermarket testing. Purchasing a listed spa is highly recommended for safety and code compliance. Moreover, ensure that the spa is installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and all applicable local codes and regulations. Also, ground fault circuit interrupters are important and crucial for electrical safety of a spa.